Y'all, this is crazy. Kirk, Frost, and Mendeecee just got fired from Love and Hip Hop. And not just that, they're being blacklisted from reality TV completely. What really went down behind the scenes? And is this the end of their careers? Let's get into the real tea. It's the controversy no one saw coming, yet everyone is buzzing about. Kirk Frost and Mendeecee Harris, two of the most talked about figures in Love and Hip Hop history, have just been banned from reality TV. That's right. After years of scandals, betrayals, and headline-grabbing moments, their time in the spotlight has come to a shocking and unexpected halt. But why? What really happened behind the scenes that led producers to make such a drastic call? Insiders say it all began with an explosive backstage confrontation. So intense, so out of control, that even security couldn't contain it. The cameras were rolling, tensions were sky high, and before anyone could react, fists were flying. And now, after years of being reality TV royalty, Kirk and Mendeecee are reportedly done for good. No more cameras, no more confessional interviews, just a cold, hard reality they never saw coming. But wait, there's more to this story than what's being reported. Was this really just about one fight, or was something much bigger boiling beneath the surface? Deception, secret alliances, and shocking revelations. This scandal runs deeper than anyone imagined. Stay tuned, because we're about to break it all down. Nobody saw it coming. Not like this. The tension between Kirk Frost and Mendeecee Harris had been simmering for weeks, but no one expected it to explode into utter chaos. What started as lighthearted jabs turned into a career-ending brawl, one that would shake the entire Love and Hip Hop franchise to its core. It all went down at a private, closed-door after-show taping. The purpose? Cast members were supposed to hash out their differences before the official reunion episode. No cameras, no pressure, just a chance to clear the air. At least, that was the plan. But when you put egos, old grudges, and reality stars hungry for drama in the same room, it's only a matter of time before something explosive happens. And that night, it did. Kirk and Mendeecee had never been close, but there was a level of mutual respect until recently. Rumors had started circulating that Mendeecee had been talking recklessly behind Kirk's back, calling him a washed-up has-been who only stayed relevant because of Rashida's hustle. At first, Kirk brushed it off. After all, Love and Hip Hop thrives on drama, and loose talk was nothing new. But when multiple sources confirmed that Mendeecee had taken things even further, Kirk couldn't ignore it anymore. The whispers turned into full-blown accusations. Mendeecee was allegedly telling producers that Kirk was desperate to start fake beef just to stay on the show. That he was a liability, bringing nothing fresh to the franchise, just old scandals and tired drama. For Kirk, that was personal. He had the nerve to say, "I'm the one holding the show back?" Kirk reportedly ranted to cast members before the fight. This man barely got out of prison, and now he thinks he's running things? It wasn't just about ego, it was about respect. And Kirk wasn't about to let Mendeecee tarnish his legacy. Sources say Kirk pulled Mendeecee aside before the reunion taping, looking to settle things man to man. But Mendeecee wasn't backing down. "If you're so worried about what I'm saying, maybe you should fix what's broken," Mendeecee allegedly taunted, his tone laced with arrogance. Kirk's face twisted, his jaw clenched. And that was all it took. What began as a heated argument escalated into an all-out screaming match. Cast members and producers watched in stunned silence. "You were a guest on this show. I built this before you even got here," Kirk snapped, jabbing a finger at Mendeecee. Mendeecee just laughed, a slow, mocking laugh that sent Kirk over the edge. Before security could intervene, Kirk shoved Mendeecee hard, sending him stumbling back into a chair. And that was when everything spiraled out of control. Mendeecee lunged, grabbing Kirk's shirt, and within seconds, fists were flying. Chairs toppled over, glasses shattered, cast members screamed. Security rushed in, trying to separate them. But both men were seeing red. But wait until you hear what happened next. Yandy Smith, Mendeecee's wife, was yelling for him to stop. Rashida desperately tried to pull Kirk away, but it was too late. The damage had been done. The worst part? It was all caught on camera. Someone in the room had pulled out their phone the second things started getting tense. And the moment Kirk and Mendeecee threw hands, the footage was already spreading like wildfire. Within minutes, clips surfaced online. Fans were in shock, comments flooded in, and the Love and Hip Hop production team was in full-blown crisis mode. "This isn't just normal reality TV drama," one producer reportedly said. "This is career-ending." The fight was so brutal that producers had no choice but to shut down filming immediately. Kirk was pulled into one room, still fuming. Mendeecee was in another, his face twisted with rage. And behind the scenes, executives were making a decision that no one expected. Because while fights happen in reality TV, what had just gone down was different. It was too intense, too dangerous, too destructive. Before the night was over, an emergency meeting was called. The verdict? Kirk Frost and Mendeecee Harris were about to receive the biggest punishment of their careers. And this time, there was no coming back. The fallout was swift and brutal. Within hours, the Love and Hip Hop production team had a disaster on their hands. And it wasn't just about broken chairs and bruised egos. The network executives weren't just upset. They were furious. Fights had happened before. Sure, reality TV thrives on drama, and a little pushing and shoving is expected. But this was different. Two longtime cast members had thrown down in a way that could have led to serious injuries. And worse, it had all been leaked. The video was everywhere. Fans dissected every second. The moment Kirk shoved Mendeecee, the way Mendeecee lunged at him, the sound of glass shattering in the background. Social media exploded. "Never thought I'd see the day Kirk and Mendeecee get into a full-on brawl. Love and Hip Hop will never be the same. If Kirk and Mendeecee get kicked off over this, I'm done watching." Fans were divided. Some sided with Kirk, saying Mendeecee had no right to disrespect a Love and Hip Hop OG. Others backed Mendeecee, arguing that Kirk had no business putting his hands on someone first. But one thing was clear: this was one of the biggest scandals in the franchise's history. And the executives? They weren't just worried about public backlash. They were worried about their brand. The fight wasn't something they could spin into ratings gold. It was a legal nightmare. Sponsors were nervous. If they let Kirk and Mendeecee stay, it would send the wrong message. That's when the decision was made. By the next morning, both Kirk and Mendeecee got the call. They were officially fired from Love and Hip Hop. No warning, no second chances, just gone. Kirk was stunned. "This ain't real," he reportedly told Rashida, pacing in their Atlanta home. "They've never done anything like this before. They need me. I've been here since the beginning." But Rashida saw it coming. "Kirk, you put your hands on him," she reminded him. And it got out. They had no choice. Mendeecee had his own problems. When he got the call, he was at home with Yandy. The moment he heard the words "we're letting you go," his whole body tensed. "Nah, that's not happening," he said, shaking his head. "I bring too much to this show. They need me." But Yandy wasn't having it. "So that's it?" she snapped. "After everything, they're just throwing you out?" Their reality TV careers were hanging by a thread, but Kirk and Mendeecee, they weren't going down without a fight. And this war, it was only just beginning. You don't come at me like that, especially not on my own turf. I've been with Love and Hip Hop since the beginning, and I've put in the effort. For them to just cut me off like that, that's messed up. He wasn't just upset about the altercation. Kirk felt betrayed by the very show he had helped build. A show that had documented his highs and lows, his family struggles, his business ventures. And now, after one bad incident, it felt like everything had been wiped away. But Kirk wasn't about to let this be the final chapter. "I'm not finished," he assured his fans. "They might have shut the door on me, but believe me, I've got plenty of other doors I can walk through." Meanwhile, Mendeecee was dealing with his own whirlwind. Being let go from Love and Hip Hop had hit him hard, but he wasn't about to take it lying down. Like Kirk, Mendeecee knew that controlling the narrative was crucial, so he too reached out to the media. However, his approach was different. Instead of focusing on the fight, Mendeecee used his platform to discuss his journey. "I've been through a lot," he began, during an emotional Instagram live session. From legal battles to time away from my family, I've always faced challenges head-on. This is just another obstacle. But let me tell you this, I don't regret standing up for myself. I've always been about respect, and I won't let anyone disrespect me, on or off camera. Yandy, of course, stood by his side, her expression a mask of controlled fury. She was livid, furious even, but she also understood how the game worked. Having spent enough time in reality TV, she knew that sometimes you have to take the blows and come back even stronger. "Trust me, y'all haven't seen The Last of Us," she told their followers during the live stream. "He's been through worse than this, and we always find a way to win." But behind closed doors, Mendeecee wasn't as confident. Losing his spot on Love and Hip Hop wasn't just a professional setback, it was deeply personal. He had poured years into the show, exposed his soul on camera, and now, with one misstep, it felt like it was all being taken away. "Man, I don't know how we're going to bounce back from this," Mendeecee admitted to Yandy one evening, the weight of it all finally hitting him. "This is our livelihood. Without Love and Hip Hop, what's left?" Yandy wasn't one to dwell in self-pity. She was already thinking about their next move. "We'll figure something out," she reassured him. "We've got our own brand now. The fans love us, not just the show. We'll make something happen." But the real blow came when news started leaking that not only had Kirk and Mendeecee been fired, but they were also being blacklisted from reality TV altogether. It started as whispers, rumors circulating in entertainment circles that no other network wanted to touch them. At first, it seemed like just industry gossip. But as days passed, the rumors gained momentum. Sources from multiple networks confirmed that Kirk and Mendeecee were now considered too much of a risk to cast. "It's not just about the fight," one insider explained. "Reality TV thrives on drama, but this crossed a line. Nobody wants the potential legal fallout or the risk of losing control again." For Kirk, the news was like a punch to the gut. Being cut from Love and Hip Hop was bad enough, but being blacklisted, that was a career death sentence. Without reality TV, Kirk's brand would lose visibility. And with that, his influence and income. "I'm not about to be some has-been," Kirk told Rashida one night, frustration laced in his voice. "They think they can just blackball me? Nah. I've built too much to let it all crumble." Rashida, always the calming force in Kirk's storm, tried to reassure him. "We'll figure something out, babe. You've got too much hustle in you to let this be the end." But Kirk wasn't so sure. He understood the reality of the situation. Without television exposure, staying relevant would be an uphill battle. He was an entrepreneur, but his name and face were what kept his businesses thriving. Without that visibility, everything could fall apart. On the other side of the country, Mendeecee was feeling the pressure too. His phone had gone eerily silent. Opportunities that once poured in were now drying up. Brands stopped reaching out. His social media engagement was plummeting. It was as if the fight had triggered an industry-wide freeze-out. "We need to act fast," Mendeecee told Yandy, frustration clear in his voice. "I'm not about to be blacklisted. This isn't how my story ends." Yandy, always the strategist, already had a plan. "We'll create our own opportunities," she said with confidence. "If they don't want us on their shows, we'll make our own show. We don't need them. We have the fan base. We have the following. Let's do this ourselves." But despite their bold words, both Kirk and Mendeecee knew they were facing an uphill battle. Being blacklisted wasn't just about not landing a TV spot, it was about being shut out of an entire industry. And as weeks passed, the weight of that reality only grew heavier. They had built their lives around the fame and fortune of reality TV. Now, they were staring down the very real possibility that it could all be gone. Could they really bounce back? Or had this fight marked the end of their reality TV reign? The silence was deafening. Kirk Frost and Mendeecee Harris, two of the biggest names in Love and Hip Hop, were now facing the harsh truth of being blacklisted. The same industry that once thrived on their drama, their conflicts, their storylines, had turned its back on them. No more producers calling for confessionals, no more cameras capturing their every move, no more big reality TV checks. At first, both men refused to believe it. They had weathered scandals before, cheating allegations, business failures, public drama, but they had always bounced back. This time, though, something felt different. For Kirk, the reality hit when he started reaching out to other reality shows, hoping to land a new opportunity. He had connections, people he had worked with for years. Surely someone would give him a shot. But every call ended the same way. "Man, I wish I could help," one producer told him, voice heavy with regret. But the network doesn't want that kind of heat right now. The fight was too much. Nobody wants the backlash. It wasn't just about the fight anymore, it was about reputation. Kirk was no longer just seen as a reality star who got into an altercation. He was labeled as a liability, a risk. Worst of all, bad for business. Meanwhile, Mendeecee was struggling in his own way. While Yandy worked behind the scenes, trying to turn their brand into something bigger, Mendeecee found himself in unfamiliar territory, uncertainty. He had always been about the hustle, making moves, staying ahead. But now, it felt like every door was slamming shut before he could even knock. But Yandy wasn't waiting for opportunities to come to them. If the industry didn't want them, she was going to build their own lane. She reached out to streaming services, independent production companies, even social media platforms. "We don't need VH1, she told Mendeecee confidently. "We can take this to YouTube, to Zeus Network, to Tubi, wherever we want. We own our brand. We don't need their cameras. We can hire our own." Mendeecee wanted to believe her, but he wasn't convinced. "It's not the same, Yandy. If we're not on TV, are people even going to care?" Yandy's confidence never wavered. "They'll care because we'll make them care." But the question remained, could Kirk and Mendeecee truly rebuild? Or was this really the end of their reality TV careers? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay updated on all the shocking twists, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next.